What's happening, everybody? Of course, it's your host, Brink Young, coming straight out of them South Memphis slums, and you are tuning in to the most award-winning independent talk show in the whole South. I'm talking about none other than BrinkTV. Now, as you can see, it's a change of scenery. You don't see the awards, you don't see the bright lights and the skyline and all of that type of stuff, but what you do see is Nashville, or should I say Smashville. Told you guys we would be here, but hey, it's an amazing city. I'm glad to be here and working with such talented people. And we actually got one of them on the show right now. We're talking about Tristan Buckner. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
I'm doing wonderful. First and foremost, I got to say thank you for coming on the show. It really means a lot to have you as a guest.
Oh, surely. I appreciate being on here, brother.
No
Man, thank
problem. No problem. Now, I might have made a little boo-boo when I said that because it's not just Tristan Buckner. No, we're talking about activists. We're talking about author. We're talking about celebrity barber. Man, you got so many jobs and titles, man. Are you Jamaican? Might be Jamaican. That's what it is. You should have been. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about it. Where are you from exactly, man?
I'm from East St. Louis, Illinois.
Okay.
I've actually, so how I made it to Tennessee from that journey, my mother located while I was in college. I was in school at Arkansas State University in Jonesboro, and she relocated and pushed us from East St. Louis, Illinois, to actually to Tennessee, Clarksville primarily, and then from transition of life, I ended up in Nashville.
Wow, that's amazing. So let's go ahead and talk about, because I was listening to, and I asked you off camera, I was like, should I call it a podcast? Because it's just real life. It's real life stories. But I was listening to, your work on Spotify, and I actually learned a lot about you. I learned a lot about your mom, who was very, very strict. Woo, let's get into your childhood, brother.
Yeah, my mother, her being a retired school teacher of about almost 50 years.
Wow.
She was a single parent. So with her having three, boys, she had to be extra hard on us just to actually, make sure that we follow the guideline, which, as adults, we chose to stray on our own, but her guides and teachings really shouldn't reflect on our actions as adults at all, because she didn't teach us, some of that foolery that we took place in as adults. So, so it was a good living with her. You need a little discipline in life. It goes a long way.
Absolutely. And, that's one thing that I can kind of speak from, being raised in a single parent home. I got a whooping every day, and I appreciate those whoopings now because it made me the person I am today, because without discipline, like, I had a smart mouth, as do a lot of young black men,
Exactly.
So, hey, Mama, I appreciate them whoopings. Thank you for the whoopings. Yeah. Now, I didn't want to really do this, but one story that you gave was she hit you with a potpourri pot?
Yeah, potpourri pot. I went to high school in Chicago too.
Okay.
I stayed on the south side of Chicago for some years, and my brother had came up. He was an all-star football back in Illinois, but he came up to visit because he was staying with my aunt at the time. Mm-hmm. And she, when she go off on a ramble, she talk crazy, and then she finished. She was like, and I looked at her and said, and she had a potpourri pot. Back in this old school, ladies, they have peaches and nutmeg and cinnamon and all that.
Before they start using Fabuloso.
Exactly.
Boiling,
the house smelled fabulous.
Right.
And in one motion, she grabbed it and hit me in the top of my head. Bam! Oh, mama, what? She was like, something funny, bloop. I'm like, no, baby, no, baby. Peaches up against the wall, all type of stuff up against the wall. But yeah, she had to be vicious, dealing with three men. I think she had to, because she took, two primary roles as a mother and a father. So she had a lot of room to cover, with us.
Absolutely. So let's go ahead and transition. You did mention moving a lot. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about what city would you say impacted you the most?
I would say Nashville.
Okay.
Nashville impacted me the most because this is where I call home now, and with me doing a stint in jail, which is prison, I did almost 13 years.
Wow.
In prison.
13. That's not Candyland.
No. From 1995 January to October the 1st, 2007, and that's when I got out. And when I got out, I came to Nashville, which was home now, and I had to, so to say, redefine myself, and set my own path.
Yeah.
And they accepted me, which, I was very happy for that, but it's nothing that I'm more so thoughtful about how people think of me. I was just happy they accepted me as I am, because I won't change just to suit a person's, but I'm being me, and I try to be genuine regardless. If you listen to the podcast, it's real life experience, which is my experience.
Right.
So I try not to sugarcoat it, in order for moms or parents to know exactly and see the telltale signs that they son, a youth may have been going through that I went through.
Absolutely.
And they can catch on a little faster.
Absolutely. And I just want to dive into that for a bit. 13 years. Yeah. That's a very long time. That's a lot of calendars. That's a lot of birthdays. That's a lot of holidays missed. What kept you motivated to get up out of that bed every day and say, hey, I'm doing this time, it ain't doing me?
I just said to myself, I put myself in a situation, so I couldn't be in a position where I have the blame and point finger game, So I'm already in an environment where it's a I and me generation,
right?
So I can't be I and me. I got myself in this shit, so I got to get me out of this. So I had to keep hope alive some way, and said to myself, I got to keep pushing forward. And I had 50 years.
Wow.
I had 50 years. So I had one homicide, and I shot a few other people. So I ended up with 50 years. So it was like, on paper, it seems like a lot, but I was up under the old law, which is 50 years at 30%.
Wow. Okay.
So I was grandfathered in. The law changed 95, July the 1st.
Okay.
So that was a blessing of God for me.
Absolutely.
And put me in a position where I did have light at the end of the tunnel, and it wasn't a train. So I'm here talking to you now.
Man, we talking about a 50 piece. Yeah. I mean, when the judge said something like that, what was your exact response? Because somebody like me, little dude like me, I would have fell out.
Man, I almost needed a defibrillator.
Oh, man.
I'm sitting there because I had to prep my mind, because I had to accept it. This was something I put myself into, and I knew if I went to trial, I wasn't in a position, nor my mother at that time, from her losing money from bogus attorneys that gypped out a lot of money, from the initiation of the case, from instilling fear in her and what could happen. So she cashed out on me, and with that, it was cashing out with the wrong person. So we didn't get sufficient lawyer help and none of that thing. So I ended up with a public defender.
Okay.
So I said to myself, in that situation, that you're only going to repeat it again. So if I go to trial and get found guilty, then I'm going through appeal. So I'm taking my mother through stage 1 again.
Correct.
So I said I'd accept some type of responsibility. I was guilty. Somebody died, and I'm not innocent whatsoever from it.
Correct.
So I accept responsibility to that and kept it moving, and my objective was to change my actions in my life, because I could apologize till I'm blue in the face, but if my actions and and future doesn't change, then it's nothing in it for it.
It becomes redundant after a while if it's repeat behavior.
People have to see change. So if they see change, and it's a lot different from you saying I'm sorry. I could show you I'm sorry by me being a part of the solution, because I've been a part of the problem.
Absolutely. Absolutely, man. And it's definitely amazing testimony that you're giving, with this interview, because like I say, I interview lots of people, and some of them maybe did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, 7 years, but 13, I believe you are the winner, sir. I don't think we've interviewed anyone who did that much time.
I promise you, this is my first time ever getting a gold, and I didn't want to like this. I didn't want to like this.
Yeah.
I'd have took the silver or bronze, but unfortunately, that's the strokes of life. You just have to deal with it and use it as a stepping stone, so the youth won't repeat the stupid, idiotic choices that I made. So that's my mission, to stop them from actually doing the things I did.
Absolutely, and that's exactly where I was about to transition into, was you using podcasts. Yeah. You're telling your story in hopes of helping people. Let's talk about why that's important for you.
Because people have to hear the reality of what's what when it comes to the law, because they say the law is no excuse. Ignorance is no excuse to the law.
Correct.
But really and truly, if a youth knew that he could have a lesser crime, and I'm not trying to say do the lesser crime,
right,
but if he knew he would snatch a purse to get money instead of put that pistol in somebody's face and shoot him and rob him, and he's first in life, opposed to 3 years for snatching a purse, he would probably choose that. So my motto is to try to teach the youth at a young age what's the capability, probability, as well as the consequences of your actions, and the law, the legalities of it. Because that way, now you've been told. Now ignorance is no excuse to your actions. But if you've never been told that, it's not taught throughout 3rd grade on up, when you can actually comprehend, is no reason to say that there's no excuse to the law.
Correct. And a lot of times, you know, when they are affiliated with street gangs, the big homies are not teaching them that. They just sending them out on crash out missions. You know, they're not, you know. But let's talk more about, you know, you got some work with Young Buck. That's a Cashville legend, man. How did you guys link up? Like, what's the story?
Just a plug here, a plug there. You know, me being, you know, incarcerated and knowing people, I still have street connections because I've been on the inside and outside. So it put me in a very good balanced position in life, to be honest, because I know the upper echelons of Nashville as well as the street individuals of Nashville, and me knowing the individual that knows the individual, that's how we plugged and we worked it out. And he stepped up to the mic and actually, you know, I gave him a brief, you know, bio, just a snippet of what and what I wanted to lay, and you thought he was my brother.
Wow. Yeah.
You thought he's my brother. He's really good.
That's incredible, man. So let's go ahead and talk more about the project, man, because it's just enough, but it's another part to that. Let's get into it.
The podcast is titled Living Just Enough.
Okay.
And that's part one of my audio book as well. Part two will be For the City. Now, part one of the audio book, I give a snippet of my audio book, which is surely to come out hopefully soon. I'm working on it. And it gives the actual factual of, I start with me leaving the county jail and route to prison, because if I just, you know, tell those stories, really drags, you know. So people want to actually get to the actual factual and see what's the moral of the story and where I'm getting to. So I start the day I left the county jail going to prison, because I was on the van with the individual that I shot 5 times.
Wow.
He shot his brother, and his unfortunately his friend died. So I had to give an impact, you know, to the people, and actual attention getter to bring them in, because this wasn't fake. Everything is documented. So when I say real life experience, X being my generation, it will be my real life experience.
Absolutely, man. We got to see a movie, man. One day, man. We got to.
Well, actually, I'm trying to work with a gentleman right now to do some type of snippet of a screenplay to shop around for a possible movie or something, you know, because my life is interesting, and it's a blessing in the position I'm in now, because it seems seamless like a sewing machine. Because looking at me, and if I did tell you my story, you'd think I went to jail for drugs. That's the first thing coming to people's mind. But they put my face looking like Carlton, so to say, when I'm shaved up in a bad day, and to that, and the way I articulate, the way I'm a business owner, author, they like, that don't seem like that, you know, as well as the people I know. But that came from God, you know, of high power. I'm not a holy roller, but you know, I look at it like wherever I'm at in life, if God didn't trust me there, I wouldn't be there. That's why I'm out of prison. So I have to look at the bigger picture.
Absolutely. Now, let's go ahead and talk about, because I did say celebrity barber.
Yeah.
Man, let's talk about it, man. So you actually got a barbershop here in Nashville, correct?
Downtown Nashville, located 301 14th Avenue North. I do appointments only, so if you drop in, you're lost. I'm sorry. And I've cut the likes of Steve McNair, Vince Young, Jarrell Casey, Javon Curse, Keith Bullock. I can rattle on for ages of players I've actually cut, as well as singers. Donald Lawrence, Israel Holden, a bunch of singers as well, gospel singers in that realm. So it's been a blessing to have word of mouth and good work ethic, you know, prove itself.
Hey, the proof is definitely there. Like I say, you guys make sure y'all patronize and support. But of course, it is appointment only. But you brought a couple books with you, man.
I did.
I'd like to know what the books are about.
Now, this book is a 5-book series titled The Felons Guide. Now, this is number 1, The Felons Guide to Integration to Professional Society, Lessons Along the Way. So this book is my firsthand experience of being a professional and dealing with professionals and the adverse effect. So I would give you an example of some individual that you know may have been incarcerated, and when they get out, you really don't know how to converse or, you know, chit-chat, so you might make yourself the topic of conversation, you know. So you don't want to make yourself the topic of conversation, because whatever the person or service that they came to you for now, that's what they're interested in. So why go off the handle and say, hey, by the way, you know, I was locked up for murder, you know, and you're there for a haircut.
Right.
So I tell them, don't wear your charge on your sleeve, because everyone is not worthy of your truth. You can pick and choose, because some people have sheltered lives and they don't have a family member that may have been incarcerated, so they won't feel you like that way. They may feel you as a threat.
Correct.
And they might clutch their person. It may be an adverse effect, or you might lose a client.
Correct.
So it's mindful about how you share your life.
Absolutely. And I like the fact that you said that because I too can relate, not that I'm a felon or anything like that, but just from me being a product of my environment, being from South Memphis, where I'm from, I was bused to optional schools, or let's say white schools. And I'm talking about the things that go on in my neighborhood, and the other white children are getting afraid and they're going to tell the teacher. I'm like, man, they were shooting last night.
Yeah.
Did somebody die? And
yeah.
I learned at a young age that I can't share everything with every people because they're not able to receive everything. Sometimes, like you said, they might clutch the purse or they might be nervous. Sometimes they get uncomfortable, but my truth is my truth.
Exactly.
And
there's no need to distort that for somebody else, because whatever story, everybody has a story to tell. And if used the right way, it can impact somebody else. Whether it's 1 or 10, it can impact somebody else, And with the Felons Guide, I also have a workbook, which is on Amazon. You can pull up the Felons Guide, Tristan Buckner, on Amazon as well. And the workbook, it complements it. And I also have a course, which is a PowerPoint presentation account, complements it, but it deals with more so with job readiness and prepping individuals for work retention, and this workbook is done by somebody in the mental health field, which I wanted to make sure it was done legitimate, and it actually complements the book, so it just won't be some lottie-dottie stuff. It's actually legitimate, so it's pretty cool.
Absolutely. That's amazing. Like you said, it's available on Amazon. You guys make sure y'all, type that in. It's at the bottom of the screen right now. Like I say, we do that on BrinkTV. Go ahead, get the people all your social media. That way they can keep up with you, man.
You can reach me at Celeb Barber T on Instagram, Tristan Buckner on Facebook, as well as on Amazon, The Felons Guide, and the podcast is on Spotify, as well as I think it's Apple Podcasts as well. You can go check it out, and I'm steadily developing new things. And if anybody's interested in tapping in, especially when it comes to the youth, please connect with me, and you can reach me at my barbershop, Tristan's Barbershop downtown. There's only one Tristan, one barbershop, and it's me. So if you contact me, you will find me. I'm not hard to find. Number won't change, I promise.
I love it, man. With that being said, I got to say, that's right. It's only one more thing we got to do, because on BrinkTV, we got 2 cameras. This camera right here, this is your camera. Okay. What I need you to do, I need you to look into that camera. Tell the viewers, tell everybody that's watching in Memphis, Atlanta, Mobile, Alabama, and the people that are watching on live stream or the people that's watching on YouTube. Tell them why they should support you. Check out your books. Check out the barbershop if they're here in the city. Go.
Everything is for a good cause. If it's for the betterment for the next man, it's not about me. It's about the bigger picture. And speaking of Memphis, my mother and father from Memphis, Lamorne on, Melrose, Booker T. Washington. So we represent too, and it's all love. Tap in, and I promise you, it'll be more than what you wish for.
Hey, I love it. I couldn't have said it no better myself. He said Lamorne on. Hey, shout out to everybody out there in South Memphis. That's where I'm from. I might know them. I might know your folks.
Yeah,
I don't know.
From Mount. She's from Orange Mountain.
Oh, she's from the Mount? Hey,
yeah.
Orange Mountain. What's your favorite color? Orange. Where you from, man? If you're from Memphis, you know what I'm talking about. But I got to say thank you for being a guest on the show. It really means a lot to connect with you and continue to do what you do, man, because it's very necessary. Like I say, when I listen to the podcast, I heard true stories. I heard real life. It wasn't just a traditional how to get rich deal or, stuff like that. Like, that was motivational teaching for me, so keep doing what you're doing, bro.
I appreciate you for having me, man. Thank you very much. To the people, peace.
No doubt. With that being said, now back to more BrinkTV.